Consciousness, who we are. Ivo, consciousness is what you really are. Yes. Not a body, not even a mind. You are part of all that is, and you are an energy with consciousness. Meditation is a means of accessing more of this consciousness than you normally have access to. It is a means of accessing higher consciousness or higher aspects of yourself. Me, so what role does the physical body play with consciousness? Ivo, yes. The body is a limiter. It limits the amount of your soul you can access, and as the chakras are balanced, then your ability to access more consciousness increases. The chakras come into balance when you deal with your emotions and master life lessons. They also balance when you meditate, however, holding yourself there takes constant work. You have fallen back to not meditating as frequently, hence you do not reap the benefits, good mood for one, of that state. Me, why? How does that work? Ivo, during meditation you move to the higher chakras. Normally in your regular working day state, you use the lower chakras unless of course you have a job like a psychic medium or yours, a channeler. This of course is because you live in a world that is lower consciousness, requires predominantly 3 chakras to live in. This is by design of course. The malevolents have created this type of circumstance to prevent you from ascending. Of course you use all of your chakras, but I am speaking of predominance. When you meditate you have a feeling of not being in touch with your lower body and being all in your head. That is because your crown and third eye chakras are most active. You also have a feeling of expansiveness because your awareness is not of your body so much anymore, but of your spirit. So the physical body was created to help you to learn. It is a system. Me, so I can see why life is so varied. If our chakras are where they are in our quest to balance them, then you get the energies from the Earth's chakras influencing them, then the energies from other parts of the galaxy, and then who knows what else? Ivo, yes, extremely varied. Also, how come my sister keeps setting off all her electrical devices? Ivo, you have the same problem at times as well, although you tend to have a more destructive effect. What you are doing is meeting the vibration of the device and then giving it orders, so to speak, according to your mood. Your sister sets hers off when she is anxious, so the device is having the equivalent of an anxiety attack, to the best it can reproduce this human effect electronically. You get angry and have a more destructive effect on yours, setting them off to their eventual deaths. Me, are you saying I'm a killer? Ivo, you hate those machines at times, my dear. You have a love/hate relationship with your technology. So this comes across when you align your vibration with it. That is very possible of course, because you are on it all day. Me, yeah, I almost killed my cell phone until you told me to leave it alone. Ivo, my dear, you see the effect your energy has on things, and with that I will say that it is necessary that your people on earth become loving, because having this power and being unloving towards anything, you can kill with a thought. Subsequent to this channeling, I was listening to a meditation CD on my laptop. As I felt like I wanted to quit, the CD stopped and the machine shut off without my even touching it. It responded to my will and the energy I was putting out. No hands necessary. Ivo, as Gaia moves up into the 4th dimension, many are starting to experience oddities that indicate they are increasing in consciousness. Some report feeling intuitions that tell them to look at something. This particular person I know to be clairvisual. I believe what was happening is the messenger is instructing them to look at what appears to be nothing to them except maybe some physical object or objects that they're used to seeing every day. So why would one's intuition instruct them to look at everyday objects which, unless you really think of their God-given presence with reverence, would have no particular significance? The answer to that is there is something there that is invisible to this person using 3D vision, and through their focusing to find something, they are exercising their eyes to view at 5D level, which would show us objects that at this point in time are invisible to us. I believe that on top of having the appropriate vibrational rate, that training is necessary in order to use one's bodily senses at 5D level. For some things will come naturally, for others training will be necessary. If you hear buzzing around your ears at night and you've determined it's not a mosquito, don't dismiss that as just my imagination. We're moving into a new realm on Earth that will stand your imagination on its head. We've worked with people who are being contacted and yet they dismiss so many things as nonsense, imagination, craziness. Whatever. I'm here to validate you. What would happen if you started to listen to that voice that tells you to try to see something you don't think is there? What would happen if you decided that yes, that buzzing you hear at night is extraterrestrials trying to contact you, trying to let you know they're there? You're reading this book for a reason. Ivo, eventually we will convince more and more people to see the truth. What I was referring to when I said humans were disconnected from their roots is look at the large cities. Remember the process you went through when you stopped working in the corporate bank and stayed home every day. You became more in touch with nature. For many, not all, this is a natural process. Once the distraction is removed, one returns to their roots. You said that you could tell which day exactly that winter started. It was the day that things stopped being soggy and wet on the ground and started becoming cold, crisp and dry. That was the first day of winter for you. And this has remained so. So Ivo, you've described how we are physical bodies on this physical world, who are, via our chakras, connected to consciousness. Can you describe this in more detail? Ivo, of course, my dear. Before you are born into a physical body you are an energy collective called consciousness. You are that first, a physical body second. This is a large collective but it is essentially you. This consciousness is eternal, meaning you will live forever in this form. You will never die. This is why ETs are not so worried about death as you on Earth are. We have more access to our consciousness than you do and understand that only the body dies upon death. In the same manner, only the body sleeps at night time. The subconscious mind, which is most of this consciousness, does not sleep. It does not need to. ETs also relate to the consciousness more than the physical person who is the physical manifestation of it. In your life on Earth you are Sharon and before this life your consciousness was Tanya, who was my mate. We are of similar consciousness type. So you are joking with me that you can write this book as well as I can, my dear. In your mischievous way. If you were not behind the veil of amnesia that surrounds your planet, you would be able to author this entire book, yes. But this is the purpose of our link, to link Terrans on Earth to those in the galaxy. We are one example of such a link although there are many more, by design. So you said too that the chakras limit the amount of consciousness, our subconscious, we have access to. Ivo, yes. But the veil of amnesia? Ivo, prohibits you knowing even what your chakras would allow, who you really are. That's not much. Ivo, it is not. Why do you think we are here to help you Terrans? We need it. So the chakras are out of balance. Ivo, and one's behavior reflects that in some way. So we work on our issues and rebalance our chakras. Ivo, and have a higher level of consciousness, or more access to your super and subconsciousness. Aha. So you get people who can meditate and see past lives and such. Ivo, yes, making a concerted effort to gather this information. The veil is breaking down so this is becoming easier. Okay, so if we're this omnipotent consciousness and we're born here on Earth, why don't we feel like an omnipotent consciousness? I've spent most of my life feeling like anything but that. Ivo, yes, my dear, what you've been taught about yourself is a lie. A lie, yes. That is to put it in a basic way. You have been taught that you are a physical body and taught to use your physical senses, when in fact the non-physical part of you is so much bigger than your physical body and so much more powerful. You have been taught to believe that your physical self is the most powerful part of yourself. And this has been so that you can be controlled and manipulated by other negative entities because these entities know that this is not true. They just let you think it is because then they can control you. Yes, you are under their control. When you get up in the morning, you must remind yourself that you are a powerful omnipotent consciousness. When you continually tell yourself this, your way of experiencing life will change. You will start to become more empowered and things will begin to fall into place. With some meditation, and I recommend daily meditation, you will begin to interact with that omnipotent consciousness through your intuition, and when you follow the advice of your intuition, or as some like to call it, your gut instinct, you will find that life works out easier for you. The more you make this consciousness a part of your daily life, the more powerful you will become. Old defeating beliefs will be brought up for renewal. You will begin to examine your life from a more powerful standpoint. You will look back on what you said or did 5 years ago and perhaps shake your head and thank the stars you are not at that point of your life anymore. You will begin to feel better. Those who wonder what on earth they are supposed to be doing with their lives will find fulfilling answers. When you experience that superconscious, you will begin living your life the way you were intended to, not the way your captors intended you to live it. You see yourself, my dear, you devote your entire day most days to helping others to become aware. You prompt, prod, post, blog, write books. Communicating all the time with people who read your work and understand new things about us, the galactics, and who they really are. You work tirelessly at it, every chance you get, to try to connect us with those on your world who will listen. We thank you for that. But imagine that time in your life when you worked at a job flipping hamburgers. Me, hey. I made supervisor. Ivo, yes, a supervisory job flipping hamburgers. Do you remember the time the supervisor had to take the garbage out and it got all over her winter coat? Me, yes, I see where you're going with this, Ivo. I've found my calling. And there are other people who work in burger joints, so don't diss them. Ivo, if you were living with full consciousness, you would not have to work, you would just create everything you wanted with your minds. But yes, that is a way off for your people. Me, 5D? Ivo, yes, you are not there yet, my dear.